Good morning, Tallahassee. It's time to wake up Warchant on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi and Corey Clark.
What is going on, folks? Welcome into the program. Wake up Warchant, 97.9 ESPN Radio. I'm Aslan. He is Corey. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
It's going to be a good show today. I promise you. Corey, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. How you doing? You doing all right over there?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like it, but I am. I'm doing all right, man. This weather's
We're
got me
almost
a lot of sore.
it's been
golly,
bad. It's
stop
been bad.
already. So this is my plan. A class action suit against the state of Florida, maybe the Florida's Convention Bureau, Visitors Bureau. Can't call yourself a sunshine state if you're constantly going to be raining over the most important summer holiday of the entire year. Settle out of court for maybe an undisclosed sum or most of Volusia County, and then I'll just take over the University of Florida and just slowly dismantle them piece
Isn't
by
it
piece.
Alachua?
Alachua is Alachua.
Yeah.
I think that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
You Georgian trying to kill me up.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's just something. It's an Indian name. It's Creek. It's derived for trash.
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody knows that. That's what we're taught. Everybody, even in Georgia, we were taught that.
Unless you're a Florida State fan who just happens to unfortunately live in that county, in which case it doesn't apply to you.
Right. Correct. But it's not the best county in the state.
It's probably not.
Well, there's no probably about it. I mean, it's fine. Leon isn't either. But I like Leon.
Leon is fantastic.
Leon's got some beautiful things about it. It's got the trees, the magnolia trees, or whatever we call them, the Spanish moss.
All right.
The canopy roads. You got a couple big universities. You got the state capitol. You got weather. But there's some not great parts of Leon County too.
You got TCC.
Yeah, but I meant FAM. FAM was one of the big schools I was talking about, big universities. But the weather in August. You could punt that to the curb. You don't need that ever. Nobody ever needs to live through that.
Canopy roads are a little overrated because I feel like it's just daytime strobe lights. You drive down and you're just getting hit in the face. It's like sun, no sun, no sun, shade, sun, shade, sun, shade, sun, shade, sun, shade, sun.
That's true, but you can appreciate the beauty, just like I appreciate the beauty of strobe lights. I love looking at those things on the dance floor. Man, they get me going.
Tearing it up out there.
A strobe light going? Are you kidding?
All right, so we're going to bounce around all over we're going to go around the horn today. There's all sorts of crazy ideas.
Okay, LeBron versus Jordan first.
Right.
We'll get that out of the way.
Naturally. So make your case, counselor, for why LeBron should be thought of as the best basketball player.
No, I don't want to do that.
Really? Okay.
No, I'd rather do a Mount Rushmore.
I have
or something.
like 10 pages of stuff.
I know.
Any of this now?
We could do the Mount Rushmore of something, or we could talk about Roseanne. Anything but LeBron versus Jordan.
We'll try to stay away from that.
They are awesome basketball players, both of them.
Okay, so
I'll tell you what, LeBron would kill him now. LeBron would crush him right now.
The
56-year-old Jordan, or however old he is, LeBron would crush him.
Sounds about right. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yeah, so there you go.
All right, we are 96 days away. Well, no, 95 and change, or 95 days and change away from the opener.
Yeah, okay.
And we haven't even gone over any of them, so we missed the other day. I don't think there's a 95 on the roster.
Not right now. Bjorn Werner was he a 95?
Yeah. I want to see he was a 94.
I think he was.
No, Carradine. Wasn't Carradine?
Tank. I think Tank. No, Tank was 91. I think
people
Bjorn,
are just yelling at you idiots. Yes, he was a 95.
So he's got to be close to your best 95 ever, right? Because he was a first-round pick. It was really good here. He never did anything in the pros, unfortunately, but he was good here.
We should see if Knoll Fan wants to sponsor this. KnollFan.org.
I think that's a non-profit site. They probably don't make a ton of money. They should, because it's awesome. I use it a lot. Anybody, if you have any Florida State needs, obviously other than Warchant, you go to Warchant first because you get the commentary and the insight and the message boards that you don't get anywhere else. But other than that, you could also go to KnollFan.org and just look up old games of any sport.
They did it, man. They actually have a list of 95s. You know, this is not a story, but the 95 for some reason that comes up to my mind first was Kevin McNeil. Right. He had like some flashes during the dark ages of the lost decade where he had like 10. I want to say he had like double-digit sacks one year. Like, oh, well, this guy's going to come back and actually be a contributor. I think maybe his sophomore year he did well, and then he just fell off the side of the earth and was never to be heard from again. Cam Wembley.
Oh, yeah.
That was a 95.
Yeah, that's a good one. So him and Bjorn are the two best in that category?
Probably. Keith Bryant. Can't forget about Keith Bryant either, though.
No, who could?
Julian Pittman.
Played in the league.
Yeah.
Part of that famed 93 recruiting class.
He wasn't the guy that got the scholarship over Ray Lewis, right?
I mean, well, you don't have to say that. I don't know. That sounds right, but it might have been somebody else. I hope not.
What are your thoughts on Tim Hebron? Back in the early 80s,
Early 30s. I don't quite remember his career, but I'm sure he made some plays for old Bobby Bowden when they were building the program.
All right, so tomorrow will be 94 days, in which case it'll be Wally Amay. So everybody start thinking of your that's got to be one of our better nicknames. I would think we're going to have to get out of that. I mean, his name is Walvensky Amay. Maybe like calling Popinski or something. Soda Popinski.
Soda Walvensky.
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, if you kids don't know. Check it out.
Wolverine.
Look at you already. All right, slow down.
That's got to be the best one, doesn't it?
Slow down. Pump the brakes, man. Right. It's called a tease, man.
Sorry, my fault.
But yeah, go ahead, tweet it at us. Let us know what you think about things. All right, football. Let's go. I guess we'll dive right into it. So it really doesn't affect Florida State as much as it affects everybody out there in the nation. So the NCAA earlier this month passed a statute. I don't even know. What do you call when NCAA passes things? Rules? Is that what they call them? They pass a rule?
Like a bylaw?
There we go. That's good. Yeah. There's a journalism in you coming out. J Degree, what's up? J School.
What's up, Grady? Grady School of Journalism.
So they're going to limit 20, I don't know, I ain't going to really say it. 20 people can have a headset communication during a college football game now at the FBS level. 20 coaches.
Okay. How many more would they need?
Well, how many do you have if you're Alabama?
Right.
So this is like a direct shot at the bow of the Crimson Tide program. And then yesterday, Nick Saban was at the SEC spring meetings in Destin. He said that he feels this is the equivalent of mouse manure when you're already up to your ears in elephant doo-doo.
Okay. Is that a direct quote?
That is a direct quote.
Okay, Nick.
That's going to go on the it's going to go right next to trust the process.
Right.
And they ran through us like bleep through a tin horn when talking about playing Georgia Southern a few years back.
Right.
So this is the thing. So what it comes down to is now there's going to be 10 full-time assistant coaches. So there's 10 of them. Head coach is 11. And then you got 4 grad assistants. So that's 15. 4 players are actually allowed to wear a headset. That's 19. And then you can have one sort of intern.
Like a fan?
No, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Bill Simmons would argue in favor of that, and he would not probably be wrong against it. I think there should be, and this is me stealing it from Bill Simmons, who wrote this a long time ago, there needs to be one person who is not an expert at the game of football, not a guy who played the game or coaching the game, but just has a good idea of football, a football fan who watches lots of football, has seen this movie a lot of times, if you will. And then he's kind of, I don't know. They use him as he's consulted. That's the word I was looking for. He's consulted in certain moments of the game. Like, should we go for 2? Should we call a timeout? Should we run this play? Because sometimes you're just too in the moment. You're trusting too much on orthodoxy, and you need some unpredictability every now and then. But they won't do that. It'll be some intern.
I just thought it meant how you get a big booster. What do you think you could sell that 20th headset for, where you could listen in on the communication between the coaches during a game? Oh. And you can't record it or anything. You're just listening to it. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you could make some money on that.
Side note on that, my friend of mine who's my roommate in college was actually a trainer for the Florida State football team when we were in college during the lost decade or whatever you want to call it. And one of his buddies actually came over and hung out with us one night, had a couple drinks, was actually one of the dudes who held the handset or the headset for Bowden back in the day. So like when Bowden would just, walk up and down the sideline without a headset, but then every now and then they'd be like, hey, I want to say something. He actually asked for the headset in the swamp in 2003 and told Jeff to throw something to 21 on the when they actually ended up going to Dominic Robinson on the 4th and 14. So Bobby actually called that. He was like, look for something over the middle with 21.
Okay, all right.
Bowden actually was like, give me the headset.
Well, there you go, and that works.
Jeffrey, listen to me. Yeah.
Otherwise, Bowden probably Jeff would have called a draw probably.
Why not? Get some yards.
The quarterback draw on 4th and 14.
Get 11 yards, punt the ball. Maybe they'll muff it out and get good field position or something.
But maybe you fumble forward or something.
So they're limiting it to 20 folks, which I think to most people sounds like that's what's wrong with that. That sounds like fine. Again, you get 4 grad assistants, you get 4 players, you have 10 full-time assistant coaches, the head coach, and then you have one person who can be, and then it doesn't have to be somebody in the booth, but it can be another personnel person. I think most of these people probably use some sort of intern that's up there that.
It's weird that wasn't a rule already. Was there not a rule?
No, I don't think so. Because there wasn't these mafias of guys in white polo shirts and khaki pants that they have in Tuscaloosa polluting the sideline near you.
Yeah, it is crazy how many polos you see on that sideline that are involved with the program in some capacity. There might be as many of them as there are players. But, yeah, I mean, I get, I assume the NFL has a rule like that. You can't just willy-nilly be handing out 40 headsets.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know that it's a big deal. I don't know that it even –
well, why do you get upset about it if you're Saban? I know these
I don't think he was. I thought he was like saying that, fine. I when I heard you say that quote, I thought it was more like, yeah, whatever. This fine, but the NCAA has a much bigger issue.
No, that's what he's saying, but he's still perturbed by it. And there's so many other things. There's
who's even who could is like a party line back in the 90s? Is there 45 people talking over the head? Are they all on the same channel? Like, I can't imagine Nick Saban wants to hear a bunch of grad assistants talk to each other. They must know they can't say a peep. That only like 6 people are allowed to talk. Everybody else is just on the headsets for what purpose, I don't know.
I'm sure he's probably dialed into a specific coach or a specific segment, and then he's got a guy next to him who's on probably hearing more air traffic control guy, and it's like, Nick, hey,
right.
This guy actually needs to talk to you now. What do you want? Just go for it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. It's okay. If we don't get it, we're going to get the ball back.
Still got a great defense. Quit being a baby.
Yeah.
So that could be the consultant's role.
Yeah.
Quit being a baby, Nick. Go for it every time.
Well, he was a bit modest. He was talking about how people are giving him so much credit for, and this isn't Tide headlines. I'm just, shooting spitballing some stuff out there. He was actually being a little bit modest, talking about how he got so much credit for taking a huge chance in doing the onside kick against Clemson in the national title game. But he said that, listen, if we would have kicked the ball off with good coverage, we would have got the ball. They would have got the ball on their own 25-yard line. Or if we do the onside kick and we don't get it, they start the ball at the 45 or the 40-yard line probably. Right. So he's like, it's a 15-yard difference. So it's really not that big of a deal when you think about it.
Plus, also, and I wrote this at the time, it's easy to make a decision like that when you already have, at that time, 3 or 4 national championships already?
Yes, about.
Like, ain't nobody questioning Nick Saban's coaching acumen. It's a risky play. It's like when Belichick went for it instead of punting against the Colts and Peyton Manning in that game.
Yeah.
When Manning ended up winning the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. The Patriots could have punted, instead they went for it on 4th down because his thinking was, I've got Tom Brady. Let me try to win the game right here instead of putting it on the hands of my defense against this other great quarterback. And it just didn't work out. But it was the right call, right? I mean, even if you don't think it was the right call, Bill Belichick gets the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, yeah.
So does Nick Saban. It's like, all right, man, that's why they're who they are. It'd be much harder for Dabo in that spot to onside kick it when he hadn't won anything yet.
Like Sean Payton.
Yeah, I mean that was again though with that was a great play. That was to start the second half, right?
Yep, Super Bowl.
But they were having real hard time stopping the Colts. Like I think Reggie Wayne or somebody had dropped a touchdown pass, and they were lucky to still even be close.
What don't you remember?
I just remember.
You just remember
anything
last year.
From like last year.
Okay,
anything. I literally don't remember who they played before Southern Miss. Who was that game? Was that Delaware State or was that
Monroe?
Louisiana Monroe?
Yeah,
I can't remember any of that, but I remember some of that stuff. But yeah, man. It's weird with Saban because, and you're right, it's not Crimson Tide headlines, but he does seem to not. I know he knows he's an awesome coach, but he doesn't beat his chest a lot about hardly anything. It's just always on to the next one.
I'm going to go off the rails. It's one of my favorite things about him, too. He never evokes divinity when talking about his success either, which I think is kind of cool.
Well, okay, sure. I'll leave you with that comment. That's fine. I got what you're saying, but yeah, I mean, he's kind of just true to who he is. We'll put it that way.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well said. Way to get me out of a jam there.
I'll try. But he does. He just, it's like, all right, he knows he's a great coach. He knows he has a great program with a lot of great players. But it's just always on to the next one. And, he can be a baby at these press conferences. He says things that bother me. He's the reason that so many SEC coaches get fired. He's the reason the salaries are out of control. All of that is Nick Saban, but it's not his fault. He's just great, and he skewed everything. He skewed the whole sport with what he did at Alabama. Now everybody's trying to catch up, and they can't because they're not Nick Saban.
It's like you come to Warchant, just making every other guy now feel inadequate about their looks.
I mean, that's
Gene and Ira are spending lots of time
right.
with fashion consultants and trying to look in the mirror and figure out what they need to do to catch up.
That's the perfect comparison.
Let's step aside for a break. We'll see how much Corey knows about what happened last year. It'll springboard into more conversation right here on 97.9 ESPN's Wake Up Warchant.
Warchant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. Warchant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WARCHANT30. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.
Wake up! Welcome on back. Wake Up Warchant, 97.9 ESPN Radio, brought to you by For the Table Hospitality. And there are 3 great locations over in the College Town District, Madison Social, Central, and Township. Go ahead, check them on out. Corey, I think we're going to do Renegade Express tomorrow. You want to do it
All right.
tomorrow? I'm
Okay,
thinking because
sure.
then we'll probably go full bore on the Friday program, getting ready for the regional baseball tournament.
Yeah.
Okay. Reminder, give us a call, 850-792-5730. That's the Renegade Express hotline, if you will. Just call, leave a message. So check it out, Corey. I don't know if this helps anybody remember it better, but there's actually a website that you can just type in your phone number, and it'll let you know kind of what it could spell out per chance, so you can let people know.
Okay.
So this actually would come out to YAKS 30. 850-7-YAKS 30. YAKS, like
yards after
maybe
catch.
maybe like cognac, or
Okay.
maybe yards after catch, but no, like yaks as in the animal.
The animal yak?
Or
Or like when you get sick, you yak?
no, because there's no C. How would you spell yak if you're sick to the stomach?
I mean, I would have spelled it like the animal, I guess. I guess there's a C in there.
I would put it. Yeah, I would put
like
C
a
in there.
back. Like
Yeah.
spelling back.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's like a yak, like the animal on the steeps of Mongolia or whatever. So it'd
Okay.
be 850-7-YAKS YAKS 30, or
I mean, I feel like that's not.
7-YAKS 30. That sounds like a play that Jimbo would call or something.
Yeah, 7 yaks 30 on 3
Spider 2Y banana.
on 26, because I got to point out everybody on the other side of the field.
Hey, do you remember? I'm ready to move on. Do you want us to talk about that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I just don't feel like yaks is going to be easy to remember. That what you're saying is hard for me to comprehend. What you
Well, that's the thing. It's so stupid. It's not 1-800. It's just 850-7-YAKS 30. You know,
850-7 yaks. So the plural yaks.
plural. It's
YAKS.
YAKS. Yeah.
Okay, 7 yaks.
It's so stupid. Maybe it'll stick with
Sure.
somebody.
Hey,
Maybe
yeah.
make somebody's life a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's simple, guys. I mean, we don't even have to ever repeat the phone number again. You got it. It's ingrained in there now.
That sarcasm is so subtle from you. It's so subtle. You need like a nuanced ear to be able to pick up on it. All right, so do you remember how LSU scored their first run against Florida State in the game in Omaha last year?
No.
See,
Was it an error?
yeah, that's a good guess. Correct.
Good.
Show what he's won.
Yep.
For some reason, I don't want to say badge of honor, but I'm going to say badge of honor. Florida State's failures in the postseason to me are almost endearing, but totally to me a badge of honor. There's something.
Did Cal Raleigh do something weird?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a swinging strike 3, ball in the dirt.
Right.
Got away from him. Tyler Holton just pointing at first, like, hey, throw it to first, get the out. Meanwhile, Tyler Holton doesn't want to even go cover home.
Right.
Because Cal Raleigh's away. Cal does some weird double clutch, drops the ball, and then finally throws it to first. Guy's safe. Nobody's at home to cover the bag. Duplantis scores all the way from first on a strikeout.
Yeah, that's right. And then they also scored 2 runs on a ground ball single to right field to take the lead. On another, I think Raleigh dropped a ball. He would have been able to tag the kid out at home.
Yes.
It popped out.
Yeah,
of his glove.
Wells, it went under his glove.
Yeah. Which
And
is
then-
crazy because Stephen Wells is a very good outfielder.
His arm is, you talk about this pitcher's got electric stuff. His arm is a power factory.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Just-
got a great arm. Him and Winston have the 2 best outfield arms I've seen since I've been covering Florida State, which is only 10 years, but like really covering Florida State, those 2 are the 2 best arms I've seen.
Sterling. Yeah, that whole thing could have been mitigated if Cal would. And the thing is, I watched that part of the game, kept replaying it. I really want to just go back and relive all the heartache of Florida State over the years. I wanted to see all the errors that Justin Gonzalez made in Omaha against Arizona. Did he not do something late in the game, or was it only the first few innings?
Oh, I don't know. I know it was the first few innings, and I know they had a chance to win the game in the bottom of the ninth, and they kind of got screwed with Ramsey should have walked, but they called a strike. I do remember that, and I remember Delmonico having a couple awful errors and busters last year out there in their opening game. They had a lead in the ninth, and the Delmonico had like 2 or 3 errors, and Stanford scored 11 runs in the ninth inning. It's pretty remarkable that I don't know if this is what you were going down, but like, how do you explain your catcher, your All-American-ish catcher, doing what Kyle Raleigh did in 2 of those games, in that one game last year twice. Like, are your terrific right fielder just having a ball go under his glove? Is that 11's fault? You know what I mean? Like, on the same token, not all wins are credit to 11. The players go out and win the games, but they also go out and lose the games. And I don't, did 11 choke? Or did his catcher somehow not learn how to catch a ball where the kid was going to be out by 15 feet and it just pops out of his glove? And the right fielder has a ball inexplicably go through him. It's just weird to me.
As they show the slow-mo replay of Cal, there's one frame where you just see the abject horror on his face when he realized the ball is in his glove. Like, oh, no. Like, yeah. I would imagine if you left your infant child in the car, not to make light of something that's really important, but like if you left like your infant child in the car and you're like in the grocery store, like, oh my God, I totally forgot my kids. And like he had that look of just like, oh my God, how could I have just done that? And I don't know, there's something about it. I don't know. Maybe I just relive all the failures of my life when it comes to sports, and maybe not even so much sports, but just in general, that I'm like, man, there's just something about it that, I don't know, it's comfort. I don't know. I can't even find the right words.
Endearing?
It's like not because it sucks. Cubs. They're not lovable losers, though. It's because it's so...
Well, yeah, because they're good. Like, the Cubs were lovable losers because they were never good.
Yeah.
It's not like the Cubs went to the postseason 20 years in a row and didn't win it, because that would have been awful. That would have been lovable at all. So, yeah, it's kind of a tortured deal. And the thing is, they win most of their postseason games. They win a boatload of postseason games to get to Omaha as many times as they've had. They've had to have lucky moments and good breaks and great clutch plays to get to Omaha. And then when they get to Omaha, it just always seems like, usually anyway, in that first game, something goofy happens and they find a way to lose.
Well, tell me what you think about this. I was watching the Inside the NBA last night after the Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. By the way, is there any better studio show panel than Inside the NBA with Ernie Johnson and Shaq and Kenny?
I don't like it anymore. I think Ernie Johnson Ernie is incredible at what he does. Barkley I've been through with for years. I don't think he watches the games. He doesn't give you insight. And Shaq, I can't understand what he's saying some of the time because he speaks it so deeply. And it's hard to understand what he's saying. Kenny's good. Kenny tries to keep him on task some, like keep the train moving. And Ernie's awesome. Ernie was awesome in the postgame, too, with Nick Young when he was talking to Nick Young. That was really funny.
Mark this down.
He handled that really well. But, yeah, man, I used to love Barkley on that show. And then I just feel like the last couple of years, he doesn't give me any information.
He's all shtick.
Yeah. Well, it is. Yeah, to me, he's all shtick.
Well, watching it, they brought Steve Kerr on the
did they? I would have liked to have seen that.
Onto the desk or whatever. And then Shaq said, listen, we both played for Phil Jackson, and what I always remember about Phil was, when the general's calm, the troops are going to stay calm. How do you stay calm when all this ever happens? So I guess the wisdom in knowing a guy who played for 11 and I guess, some of the hubbub around him is that he just gets, I don't know how, I've never played baseball, so I've never been in a dugout. I don't know how things work in terms of the motion of baseball, the dynamic of things. But I don't know how fair is it to say that, and listen, he admits it on the selection show. Matt Schick asked him, how important is it for you? You got the record now, the all-time wins. How important is it for you to get the record, or not the record, but to finally get a national championship? And he's like, it would be the stupidest thing for me to tell you if it didn't mean something to me. I just don't know how much of him coaching tight, him being tight in the dugout, him coaching, just, is there a different feel? You don't know this, but if he flips a switch in there, how much can that bleed over to where it kind of is his fault, or how much of it is on the guys to listen, man, yeah, you're nervous, he wants to win this, but we got to go out there and focus and execute. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory term. I'm saying that's the way they look at him more so than a father figure.
Yeah, I don't know. He's really competitive for every game. You saw that clip when they beat Clemson, and he's pounding the dugout railing after they get the strikeout. I don't know. He sometimes to his detriment. He wants to win regular season games so bad that he doesn't develop relievers that he needs to develop for later on because he's using the guys against Stetson. Not that Stetson. Stetson's a good team this year, but whoever, FAU, one of the midweek games, he uses his same arms because he really wants that win, as opposed to maybe using a freshman, see what he can do. Even if you lose the game, you know what you got for next. You know what you got later on down the line. I think sometimes he's too competitive to a fault. But I don't know that he coaches any differently. You know what I mean? Maybe he did in the 90s, but since I've been here in the postseason, it's kind of the same. He doesn't really bunt ever. He'll bunt with first and second, nobody out. That's the only time he'll ever bunt, typically. He goes to some depending on who the pitcher is, he gets a long leash or a short leash. But it's not like, say, Drew Pears struggled in the third inning this weekend. and he's given up a couple runs already. 11's not going out there and taking him out of the game. That's not what he does. Maybe he would do that before, but since I've been covering this team, he doesn't make those kind of, oh, gosh, I got to panic and make this panic move right now. He kind of, to me anyway, coaches how he coaches.
I don't think he makes panic moves. I just think maybe his demeanor.
I think maybe they're tight for him. I think
more
maybe,
so than him.
I don't know that I don't think he's like, they can tell a difference in him. I think everybody that plays for Florida State, until this thing happens, every time they start a postseason, there's going to be a little extra weight on them because they've never won one. As weird as it is, if they would have won the 86 game against Arizona when they were in the title game, if they'd have won that game, somehow these guys in 2018, 32 years later, I think would be playing looser.
Yeah.
I mean, even I don't know why a national title 32 years ago would matter, but it would. Mike Martin would already have his. There'd be not that pressure to get him as first, and I think that just continues to feed itself when you get in the postseason, which is natural, right?
Well, same things like Grady Little leaving Pedro out there too long, right? I mean, the pressure. I mean, I think you start overthinking things, or maybe we just look at it. This is the thing, like you can analyze those things like the Red Sox that much more before they finally won the World Series, as in like, oh, it's the curse or all that sort of stuff.
But I think that weighed on Red Sox players.
Yeah,
I don't think it was Boston's fault, like the city, the goat, or whoever cursed them.
No,
the Babe.
Bambino.
Yeah. But I just think that there's no way that when the Red Sox were in the postseason in '86 or '99 or whenever they were, that didn't, or 2003, that didn't weigh on them. And then finally, weirdly, the only way they could win the World Series is exactly how they did it. 3-0 to the Yankees. There's no chance. Let's just go have fun and see what we can do here. We have no pressure on ourselves now because we're already down 3-0. The series is over. Let's just go play. Let's just go have fun one game at a time. And they end up winning 8 straight and winning the championship.
And everything is copycat. And that's why I felt like last year was going to be it that way then, right? I mean, if you're going to write it for Florida State, if they're going to steal that manuscript and make it Garden and Gold, it would have been last year. And then the stuff happened against LA. Once you lose the first game, you're done. And they blew the first game. Again, I don't know that they were tight. I don't know how your catcher doesn't catch the ball. I don't know how your right fielder doesn't field that. Maybe they're tight because of their coach. I'm sure they practice that. Like Cal Raleigh catches probably 200 balls a day with that mitt. And then in that moment, for whatever reason, it popped out. What are you gonna do? What are you going to do? We're going to take a commercial break, though. We got to do that. It's part of the shtick. We'll be right back after this. More Wake Up War Chant coming up here on 97.9 ESPN Radio in Tallahassee.
You're locked in to Wake Up War Chant on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Wake Up War Chant. He's Corey Clark, senior writer and columnist for warchant.com. I'm Aslan Hajavandi, director of digital media for aforementioned website. Show brought to you by For the Table Hospitality. Going on right now over on warchant.com. Corey, you wrote a pretty cool little column there, looking back on those famous drives.
Right.
To the surprise of nobody, the most famous, quote, play or most famous drive in Florida State football history was?
The Charlie Ward 1992 versus Clemson in the opener, the ACC road opener for the Florida State Seminoles. No, it was
that was a sarcasm that your nuanced ear.
Yeah, you guys are picking it up now. If you listen to this enough, you know that was sarcasm. Yeah. It was the 2013 national championship game,
which there's just no
after Trey Mason did his Heisman pose.
Yeah, how do you feel about that, Trey Mason? You lost your mind. I mean, poor guy literally has lost his mind in the last few years.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, right? Wasn't his dad a rap, like a famous R&B artist?
I think
so,
with De La Soul.
Yeah, that's right.
De La Soul. Yeah, that sucks to suck, Trey. It's going to be all right though. So the next thing up now is the nominations are coming in for the most famous tackle or hit. Most famous tackle or hit in Florida State history. So right now...
Yeah, give me obviously Stanford Samuels on Roscoe Parrish.
That was the first absolute post.
What's another one? Does Greg Jones count?
Nick Moody beating up Jeff Demps.
Knocking his mouthpiece off, right? Yeah.
Greg Reed on
Lattimore.
Marcus Lattimore.
That's a good one, too.
1, 2, 3. Marvin Jones destroying Larry Jones, no relation, of Miami.
Yeah. Yep. That was a great game. Tamarick Vanover got splatted in that game, too, by I think it was Barrow or Armstead. One of their great linebackers just crushed him on a little tunnel screen up the middle. Holy moly.
What about like when Jalen took that guy's soul from Louisville?
Yeah, I mean, that was a great one, too, man. It's hard. It's so much recency bias with these things. Like, and it's not, I mean, there have been great hits obviously Florida State's had a ton of them, but they don't come to your mind immediately. Yeah. But I'm racking my brain trying to think of some. Derek Brooks had a great one on a goal line stand against Clemson.
Somebody said that Derek Brooks stopping the Clemson running back at the goal line, one of the best solo tackles in history. That's from Prime Time.
Kept the shutout. That was cool.
What about? This is more recency bias. What about when Nigel Bradham got ejected from the Miami game?
That was a great hit and a legal one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was whatever that was 8 years ago. Man. There's
Stan Shiver on Kyle Morris, lights out.
I don't remember that, but one I do remember. Oh, I remember the picture. It was a famous picture in the Democrat. I think it might have been a poster too.
Yep.
In '97, when Florida State beat the absolute tar out of Miami, they sacked their quarterback into the goalpost.
Did they?
Yeah, and I can't remember if it was like Scott Covington or Ryan Clement. It was one of those Miami quarterbacks who had run his mouth the year before and literally got in the fourth quarter where they're already down 40-0. He got sacked into the goalpost, which is, has that ever happened before? I don't know who did it. I'd have to go back and try to find the game and look it up. But that was a really fun moment for Florida State fans, I imagine.
Such ferocity right there. Hey, I was about to talk about something I totally forgot, which is not good when you're driving a radio show. But just to jump back to baseball real quick, do you know that Oklahoma center fielders, their starting quarterback?
Yeah, I saw that, and he's
Kyler
also I saw on the MLB website that he's like the number 32 prospect in the draft.
Really?
In the major league draft.
Oh, jeez.
So that's close to first round money. If he get drafted 26, then you're looking at $3 million, and then Oklahoma's without a quarterback. I didn't realize he was the starting quarterback. I knew he was the quarterback at Oklahoma.
Well, I guess he's the projected. There's nobody's.
Man, he's only a sophomore, but he is draft eligible. So I guess what they could do is draft like they did the Russell Wilson, Deion Sanders thing, and we'll draft you, and you can play pro baseball in the summer, and then you play quarterback in the fall. They could let him do that. But yeah, they have two outfielders that are projected to be first round picks. Him and another one.
Yeah, just come on down to Tallahassee. No big deal. Join Mississippi State.
Hey, man, maybe Florida State won't even have to face them.
If you're in a Power 5, everybody just come on to Tallahassee region. We'll host you. It's fine. Are they going to be able to get these games in? The weather's horrible. And the forecast looks terrible.
I assume it'll just be what it always is. There'll be 6 weather delays. They'll finish playing the Saturday games on Monday.
I'm trying to think. I want to say that
there's never not a weather delay. It's June in Tallahassee. Yeah. It's always like this.
Like, has a regional ever been moved due to weather that wasn't like a hurricane? Have they ever looked at a regional and be like, listen, they're saying it's going to rain every day for the next 8 days in a row?
No. They'll
sneak
in a few innings here and there.
They'll play till Tuesday, because I think last year or the year before, there was a couple of regionals I think that had to.
They played a Tuesday or Wednesday, and then you just started on Saturday instead of Friday. But yeah, they'll play it here. But yeah, it'd be a lot of long waiting moments at Dick Hauser Stadium during NCAA regional play.
Thankfully, actually, will you be there to keep us entertained?
No. Good luck though. Good luck. We're all counting on you.
Oh shoot, I'm trying here, man. All right, again, folks, don't forget leave your messages over on the callback line, which is 850-7
Yakety Sax. Is that what it is?
Close.
Yakety 6
7 Yaks 30 792-5730. And go ahead and leave your messages for us on the Renegade Express.
So Rufus Brown, Yaks. Who's a famous 30? Has there ever been a famous 30 in
Todrick Verdell?
Say no more.
That should be like every time you ask a number, I'm just going to say like Todrick Verdell. Like, what was the most famous, 18? I'll be like Todrick Verdell.
Yeah, obviously.
The best 11 ever in all of Florida State history is going to be Mike Martin. I saw this posted the other week on Warchant. I want to get your thought on it, Corey.
Okay.
Bowden never wins. Let's say that horrible field goal attempt from Nebraska doesn't hit Tom Osborne and give him a concussion.
Right.
And actually goes through the uprights and Nebraska wins. How long do you think Bowden would have stayed at Florida State, or how long would they have kept him? How long would he have been welcomed? Because I guess the whole comparison here is Bowden, Mike Martin, both guys that had great sustained success and put these programs on the map for better.
So if he had gone till 99 without winning one, would he have made it to 99? Is that the question?
I guess. I would say that far. I mean, what if he loses to Florida the way he lost to Florida in the national title game in '96? It would have been curtains closed at that point, you think?
No. That was their only loss of the year. It was ridiculous they had to play him twice. They already beat them to go 11-0. They upset them. No. I mean, you just can't do that. You can't fire people that go 11-1. Even if you're disappointed how they perform on the biggest stage, they're getting you into the conversation of national championships every year. And that'd be like Marv Levy being fired after the 4th Super Bowl. I mean, it's disappointing. Mm-hmm. You can win one, but you can't do that. That's not how sports operates, because there's no guarantee whoever you hire is even going to get you back there in the first place. I mean, it really is about just giving yourself opportunities. And eventually you'll find a way. Like from 87 to 92, Florida State, you could argue, was the best program in the country. But they kept losing the wrong game at the wrong time, just missed field goals and whatnot. Just some bad luck. A rap video. That wasn't a great idea. But, they had all the 2-point conversion if they'd have just kicked the extra point. All these things, but you give yourself enough chances, eventually 93 happens. The same thing with Osborne at Nebraska. Like, he was always in the conversation. He was always playing in national championship games or losing one game. The 93 game, he lost that one, and people were like, man, he's never going to win the big one. And then he won 3 of the next 4. You just keep giving yourself enough chances, and eventually, Florida State baseball notwithstanding, eventually you find a way to break the seal, like Florida baseball did last year, because you just keep. It's all you can do is give yourself enough chances. Eventually, you'll get one.
I believe you're right in terms of the framework of that time.
People would have been upset, but you can't fire a guy that's winning, that's literally finishing in the top 5 every year, even if he doesn't have a national title. That's just like you couldn't fire 11 right now. They keep finishing in the top 10 or 12 in the country.
Raptors just fired the NBA Coach of the Year. Got the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I don't know that's. Do you think they're going to win the title next year?
I'm just wondering, obviously, with the way the landscape was back in 1996 or 3 or 99, however far back we want to go and make that like line of demarcation for Bobby, there's no Twitter, there's no 24/7 sports talk radio, there's no, ESPN's around, obviously, but they're not going to the hilt as they are now. I just wonder how much of, I don't know, so much of it's maybe a younger person brought that up because we can't envision in this day and age of debate and all that sort of stuff how they would ever let a coach keep going that long. Because, you can say about
but it's not
baseball,
like the program was
sport.
declining. It was like, what if Dabo hadn't won with Deshaun on the last play of the game against Alabama? You think Clemson fans would be like itching to get rid of him?
No, but I mean, he obviously wouldn't be thought of as highly as he is right now. I mean,
right, but he still wouldn't be there would be no pressure on him to lose his job. Bowden wouldn't be thought of as highly if they had blown that game, which they almost did. They frankly did, but they still wound up winning and beating Nebraska. I mean, that would have been a huge blemish. It was a really good team.
What an ugly game.
It was an ugly game. It was a better defense than we thought, but they played scared at times. He coached scared at times, which he sort of did sometimes in big moments. There's a reason that all those Miami games, they were settling for 4 or 5 field goals instead of scoring touchdowns. That's where those games were lost, not on a kick. So having them have to settle for field goals in the first and second quarter all the time, and they did that in the Nebraska game. But they still found a way to win that one. But yeah, I mean that would have been a blemish, but it wouldn't have been like we got to get rid of this guy blemish. It'd just been like, man, please go win one of these, Bobby. Please, you're really good. You got a great. We appreciate everything you do. Go win one. I mean, kind of like they are with the baseball program. But Mike Martin's never in danger of getting fired. But it's just disappointing. They're not mutually exclusive.
What is his fireable offense? What is Mike Martin's fireable offense?
Yeah, there isn't one. He hasn't won a national championship. Well, then go fire Lonnie Alameda. Go fire Trey Jones. He hasn't won one for the golf team. Nobody other than Bob Raymond and Mark Krikorian on this campus have national championships. And Mark Krikorian lost like the first 6 times he went to the Final Four before he won one. That's just, you give yourself opportunities, you win. That's what it is. So, you Mike Martin somehow, I don't know what he did with the baseball gods. I really don't know, but he did something where I don't think it's on Mike Martin that they've lost those games. Some of them maybe. Some of them were bad decisions. Some of them just his players didn't play well.
Back in the old country, we do have live animal sacrifice, but it's usually to commemorate something good that's about to happen. I think when you get wedded or like when you have a child, I think in the old country back in Iran, like they'll get a lamb and they'll.
So you think you should do that at Omaha? What animal?
Why not?
What animal? Like maybe sacrifice a gator? Like kill an alligator on the mound?
That's too much visibility. It needs to be
so,
something kind of just within the team only can kind of see. It's not about making a public scene. It's just about sacrificing to the.
But I feel like it needs to be on the field. Otherwise, I don't. Well, you don't need to change.
Maybe,
you don't need to change the luck in the dugout. You need to change it on the field.
Maybe go to What about if we go to the side of Rosenblatt?
Yeah.
Do something at Rosenblatt. Maybe that juju can carry over 10 miles or so over to TD Ameritrade.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Like kill it. I mean, I'm still.
It just has to be a gator.
I think an alligator is the way to. I don't know if they have a lot in Nebraska.
Maybe like an ibis, and an ibis want to be a good one.
An ibis too. You're gonna have to pay for all the moving fees because you're gonna have to send one out there. You're gonna have to transport it out there like Smokey and the Bandit. Maybe an elephant. No, I don't want that. That's always creepy.
Seeing cute.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, an alligator and an ibis would be the only things I could think of. Maybe Bernie Kosar.
I was just thinking, I just want to give 11 like a fifth of Jack and just be like, just let it all out, big guy. And I just want him just to go off for 10 minutes about all the things he regrets and that he's done in baseball. Not like in a bad way. I think it'd be so cathartic and awesome to watch.
What if he just drank a 12-pack during the game? He's never done that in Omaha. And they've never won.
Do something different instead.
Yeah, that's
of
what I'm saying. So just start drinking. Like, have a keg in the dugout. Hey, guys, we're having fun. Isn't this neat? We're in Omaha. No pressure. Like a beer league softball game. Just, hey, Jackson, once you finish that cup, get out in left field, man. They're waiting on you. Hurry up. Chug that. Whatever you got to do, man. Heck.
Give me
try
the phone
something
number.
else.
I'll float it out.
I mean, I feel like you could still hit if you're just buzzed.
And maybe they'll go off the grid and they won't listen to this whole just take the pitch. No, swing away.
Well, all of it. When you're buzzed, man, when you're inebriated, just swing as hard as you can. You might hit it. That's all I'm saying. Try something else. Even if maybe the players don't imbibe, but the coaches, man, just have fun. Play drinking games.
You're going to talk to the guys before they go out to Omaha. Again, my prediction is if
they're going to Omaha,
if they win the regional, they're going to Omaha.
Clemson don't want none of this, is what you're saying.
Their season won't end in Dick Hauser against Clemson or whoever is going to come to town from the Super. If it ends, it's going to be something just one of these pitchers. Is just Drew's either going to be due for a letdown or maybe Andrew just goes out there and just can't get it done. They fall in the loser's bracket and it's going to be too big of a hole to dig out of this time around.
Well, either way, we're going to get some animals out to Omaha if they make it, and a keg.
There we go. It's done. It's said. It's going to happen.
Like an igloo cooler. Just have Martin rolling in an igloo cooler in the dugout. What's in there, Coach? Don't worry about it. You're just popping open a Busch Light.
It's Wake Up Warchant. It's 97.9 ESPN Radio. Come right back after this.
You're locked in to Wake Up Warchant on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Welcome back. It's Wake Up Warchant, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Winding things down on this Wednesday edition of the program. Don't forget, folks, Renegade Express coming tomorrow. Get your questions over to 850-792-5730, which I should not say it in that sort of tone where I'm not sure because I think I've said it wrong once or twice before, and some person in the greater Leon County area is probably getting spammed by Florida State fans wanting to talk about the Knowles, and it's just like, hey.
Yeah, whatever.
Wrong number.
That's fine.
So, yeah, go ahead and leave us a message. We'll get to it on the Renegade Express, and we'll also start the countdown of sorts, Corey. We'll be about 94 days away, so we'll give Walvensky MMA a nickname tomorrow. I mean, we don't have to, but it's part of what we're doing here because it's the summer and it's slow. And since it actually is the summer, this is like Little League All-Star season, man. Brady's out there playing. What number does he wear?
He's 22.
Ooh, double deuce. Telvin Smith guy?
Emmett Smith. No, I'm just kidding. He knew my number growing up was 2, and I think somebody already had the number 2, so he just doubled it up to 22. Yeah,
that's freaking God. I want to be a dad.
I mean, I'd like to. I seriously, the single digits are better though. I'm gonna have to get him back the single digits.
White shoes more so than
he does have white shoes. Yeah,
perfect. Yeah. That's why Red Applin and Jackson Luke look like such players. Like, look at these guys.
And all those guys at Clemson back in the day, always wearing white shoes. That's a good look, man. I like that stuff.
Yeah. How's he doing? So what's going on right now?
With old Brady?
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked, Aslan. So this past weekend, it's you talk about dad moments. It was a proud dad moment. He played in an all-star tournament, his first one, because we all know what happened last year.
Absolute travesty.
Yeah. But so
not since Michael Jordan got left off of his junior varsity basketball team has there been a more egregious omission.
It's crazy.
Of any sort of
it's going to be
team.
It's going to be the prologue to whoever writes the book about Brady Clark's athletic life. That'll be the prologue. But so he played in his first All-Star tournament, and it was a doubleheader. I only got to see the first game because I left after the first game to go to a Dave Matthews concert. Which, by the way, I'm not getting into it.
What?
It was.
Corey, come on.
It wasn't my call. It was the
right,
lovely,
okay,
the
right,
lovely
yeah.
lady I'm seeing. It's her. It was her
She's
call.
awesome. We like her.
So we did that. But anyway, so he played in 2 games.
It's All-Star season, though. Did we not express the ground
No,
of the situation?
I
to the
didn't know.
lovely
We
lady?
didn't know that he'd be on an All-Star tournament or when an All-Star team or when it would even start. So that was fine. So and they lost that game 14-4. But he did pitch, and he pitched well, even though they lost 14-4. He only walked a couple kids, which is great for 9-year-olds. They were playing a 10-year-old tournament, so they were not. They were playing up anyway.
Oh, look at that!
So they won the first game, and he bases loaded 8-5. He's playing center field in the last inning. He makes a running catch to kind of preserve the game.
Nice, attaboy.
It walked a couple times. Anyway, so he did that on Saturday, and then on Sunday they had another game at like 9 in, but he couldn't play because he was in a play about Mary Poppins that he'd been practicing for the last 3 months at this theater in near Atlanta, where he had a British accent. He was one of the Mary Poppins children's that he watched, and had 2 song and dance numbers with the whole cast. And that was pretty neat, man, to see. He was really good. Like, he really enjoyed being on stage, and he enunciated and was into it. And it's just cool that, again, this is just a proud, I'm sure all of you have tuned out already, but that have a kid, there's nobody on his baseball team that will miss a game this summer to go be in a play. Right. And there certainly wasn't anybody on that stage with him that is also playing in baseball all-star tournaments. So it's kind of neat that he's the kid that can do both, and that one weekend he got to do both and did both of them well for the most part.
He's got a strong resume for The Bachelor if he doesn't end up having a high school sweetheart and then going in the first round of the MLB draft after high school.
Well, yeah, we got this video, so that'll help. That'll help with the producers. We got the video of him being a 9-year-old in a Mary Poppins play.
Can you put yourself there right now? Can you envision 9 years from now, 1 week from now, MLB draft, and your phone rings?
Oh, with Brady?
Yeah.
Oh, no. No, I'm not going.
You're not going to dream that dream?
No.
Why not?
No, I just
too much pressure.
I would be stunned, and just because I know the stats, I know the likelihood. I would be stunned if he's ever even looked at by a scout. It just doesn't happen, And he's going to stop growing. He's not going to be more than 5'10". Let's hope. Maybe he'll get to 5'10". So he's not going to be an athletic specimen. But hey, man, I hope it happens. I'll be working with him. I hope he does it, or he could be getting the call to go to Broadway.
Winning a Tony.
Yeah, to win a Tony.
That'd be great. Like, I know my dad wanted me to win a Heisman. And it'll flash you in the crowd, and you'll have just that one singular tear coming down your face.
Right.
But I hope this Tony's good enough, Dad. I love you.
And it won't be, because who wants to go to the Tonys? I mean, I hope. Hey, whatever.
Dad, I told you we'd go to New York City and win an award. It wasn't the downtown athletic club.
I was talking about, Brady. You're not showing me anything. You lost. I'm crying because I'm sad.
That's great, though. Maybe we need some sort of. We'll have to figure out a way to get his British accent incorporated into the program.
Oh, it was really good, man. And he really likes it. And it's mostly girls. It's 5 boys and a bunch of girls. But he really likes it. He likes doing it. It wasn't my idea for him to do this. It was his mom's. But he really likes it. And I told him, man, as long as you like doing this, as long as you like it, I'm all for it. And you were good at it. So I think he'll do it again next year. And it is cool, man, that he's got other interests. He's a sports nut. Yeah. But he's got other interests other than sports, which is cool. A little well-rounded. We're trying to make him a little well-rounded. Now he's getting a little too round in the midsection. Okay. But we'll shave that off. I'm going to have him running 3 miles a day at 6 a.m, listening to Wake Up Warchant, like all you folks.
That's what I like to hear.
All you crazy people.
Be happy, be well, everybody. Jeff Cameron coming up at 3.
The Sod Cemetery, Osceola and Renegade, and of course, the War Chant. These are great traditions known to all Seminole fans. If you are a card-carrying, garnet and gold-wearing Nole, don't you deserve a site that is truly dedicated to covering FSU sports? Warchant.com's staff has over 50 years of experience covering the Seminoles. Warchant.com is the only FSU outlet with a full-time recruiting analyst in Tallahassee. Plus, it's the only site with a full-time videographer and a daily podcast, 100% dedicated to FSU sports. Why act like Gators and settle for second best? Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.